What's good, Southeast Michigan Podcast? Daniel back with you. Southeast Michigan Podcast is free and available wherever you watch or listen, up on YouTube. Click the bell for notifications, subscribe, rate the show if you could please on any of the platforms of your choice. And I want to appreciate y'all for joining in on the week edition, the biggest game of the year, no matter the sport, is just a few days away. It is Wednesday, November 27th, and I tell you what, this season, I mean, we most likely say it every year. The season has just flown by, right? This is the last regular season week. We're going to see Michigan play Ohio State in Columbus. We're going to see them play in the GoDaddy Bowl or Memphis Music City Bowl or something like that, and that'll be that'll be it for 2024. A lot has happened on and off the field. The last time I spoke to you, I believe I mentioned I didn't think Bryce Underwood was going to be a Michigan Wolverine. He, in fact, is. Flipped from LSU. There is 4 or 5 other recruits that are fong bombed or crystal balled, whatever you want to call it, to Michigan. Derek Meadows is a LSU 4-star wide receiver commit. He's been on Michigan's radar for a while. He's aiming to flip to Ann Arbor. Ty Haywood, he's like a 5-star offensive tackle. I think he's a Bama commit or Oklahoma or Georgia, one of those 3 schools. Doesn't matter. Michigan is seeing the ripple effect of Bryce Underwood and catching the eye of other recruits. Early signing day is coming up here in a couple weeks, but of course the shade is being thrown out there of all the money and NIL that's being dealt to get these guys, and it's unfortunate that Bryce Underwood needed north of 10 mil to come to Ann Arbor. There's a podcast, I think it's a Crane and Company with David Cohn, and the other guy, I honestly don't remember his name. I apologize, but Bryce Underwood, as an LSU commit over the summer, was interviewed on their show, and basically said that he chose LSU, despite being a Michigan fan growing up in his whole life, that the development of quarterbacks is better there and down in Baton Rouge, and not so many words. So you can go find that clip on YouTube. I think the clip on there is like 3 minutes long, and despite Brian Kelly not being able to develop really any quarterback for a long-term stay in the NFL, he decided to go that route initially. So my thought was, Michigan's not his first choice. I mean, was the money the only factor in this, or was it, he really wanted to be Michigan Wolverine, but the timing just wasn't, was just different. Now, what has come out said that, Jim Harbaugh didn't have nearly as much communication with him as, say, Sharon Moore or Kurt Campbell or whoever else. So maybe Jim Harbaugh, just felt like he was doing enough to recruit him or had his eyes on someone else. Carter Smith, a 4-star guy. He's, I think, rated 15th in the On3's highest rated recruits for 2025. Was committed, decommitted once the Underwood news came out, and now he has since pledged to the Badgers. So you gain one, lose one, or lose one, gain one. I would assume Michigan still would be, has to be wise, has to be smart, and go into the portal to get somebody else for, I want to say Plan B, but depth purposes. And, there's no guarantees in life. Part of the reason, too, where I had my reservations on Underwood was, nothing personal, but, man, I'm all for the players getting paid. But to shelve out double-digit dollars and millions for a kid who's never thrown a pass in college football yet is crazy to me. We've seen the some was it Jake Armada or something like that. It was the Miami commit or the Florida commit. Was paid some money and then dipped out, saying that they didn't fulfill the agreement. Blah blah blah. You know, I don't know the stipulations. Has he got to be here all 4 years to get all that money? Is it 3 years? What is it? It's just it's still a lot to go, and I know Michigan fans are kind of split here. I want to say split. I would say I'm in the minority with my opinions, but a lot of the fans are like this is the landscape now, and that is a little bit true. But man, I've said it ad nauseum. I'm just glad Michigan won the Natty when they did. A traditional college football feel isn't necessarily feeling traditional anymore. So the new era, I'm really not kind of a fan of the college football expansion, the NIL stuff, some of the rivalries going away, the conferences being realigned. I'm just not a fan of it. So I'm still going to be a Michigan fan, right? But it's definitely a weird feeling. But hopefully, God willing, Bryce Underwood comes in here and and plays his ass off. Before we get into the Ohio State game, I want to pull something up real quick. So, shout out to Double BB on Twitter, Michigan page. He's at BB's Big House One. Usually posting a lot of cool recruiting graphics. Let me pull this up real quick for you. So if you're watching on the screen, you can see. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta fix this in 1 second. I'm not. I don't have the camera on me right now. I just got off work, so let me put on the webcam. I don't have the actual camera plugged in. Well, if it's gonna do it, it's lagging at the moment. So that's come on. Really gonna pull this off now. Come on. Come on. Hey. This is my nightmare. Sometime today would be nice. All right. So until that decides to load up or whatever, um, I'll show that to you before we move on, though. Michigan hockey swept Penn State in absolute thriller fashion Friday and Saturday this past weekend. The second game for the sweep, they won 10-6. That was absolutely crazy. That was get down 3-0 early, come storming back, down 4-1 then, and I say storming back, score one goal, but they're down, and then back and forth into the third period to make it 10-6. Hoops also picked up a nice win versus Virginia Tech. I think they're getting the winner of the next game in the miniature tournament they're in. Oh, here we go. Come on. This is so annoying. All right, so come on. All right, we drop kicking this laptop. We drop kicking this laptop. My goodness. All right, now you can see it. All right, so enough with the hockey, enough with the basketball. I'm just buying time. Let's get back to the football recruiting rankings. So Bryce Underwood, as you can see, is the highest rated quarterback recruit ever in Michigan football history at literally 9999999. Okay, ranked first in his class. You drop down to the second all time. It's been Shea Patterson. His national rank was 4. You can see Ryan Mallett is third. His national rank was 5. Then you got Chad Henne, who was at 18. He was a 5-star quarterback. JJ McCarthy, of course, was a 5-star quarterback. He was 25th, and so on and on the list. So as you can see, the down here in the very bottom is Alan Bowman. He was a 3-star. Then you got Jake Rudock. And of course, not all these guys originally committed to Michigan, but right here you can see the class that they were in, their rank, their position rank, and their national ranking. What I thought was interesting is looking at this is like you see all these quarterbacks and like how many actually panned out for U of M. Jake Rudock, we can all agree, if he had one more year of eligibility, 2016 Michigan, who knows what happens? Okay, they had a rock with Wilton Spate, wasn't the greatest, high flying offense, but I think if Jake Rudock plays in 2016, maybe the Michigan Ohio State game ends in a win. Maybe they actually, if even if they lose Ohio State, maybe if they go out, they still go out and beat Florida State. Okay, John O'Korn, trash. Wilton Spate, okay. Alex Orji, I mean, he's going to be another guy. Jaden Denegal, another body. Alex Malzone, I mean, 4-star guy, had some good offers. I mean, basically a ghost. Cade McNamara, we know, you know, probably played worse at Iowa than he did at Michigan. Joe Milton, obviously didn't pan out, played better at Tennessee, made it to the NFL at some point. Jack Tuttle. Clayton Richard, who? Denard Robinson. I mean, I wasn't a huge Denard fan, but he definitely made Michigan offense watchable for the most part. Dylan McCaffrey, really hoped that he was going to, transcend. Didn't happen. Unfortunately, we got one of the McCaffreys that didn't do much. Tate Forcier, oh my goodness. Remember just riding the bandwagon train right into the toilet. Jane Davis, someone we're going to have to keep an eye on going forward into the 2025 and beyond. Is this dude even going to be in the Michigan Wolverines uniform in the future, or is he the next guy before Underwood shows up? Brady Hart, 2026 class. Okay, he's a 4-star guy. Has a lot of time to move up or move down in the rankings, depending on his senior year of high school. Is not shy of competition. Still, even with Underwood commitment, he said he's locked in. Yeah, he, not verbatim here, but said that, competition, believes makes him better. So he's not going anywhere for the time being. So we'll see him probably maybe in a quarterback battle at some point. Matt Gutierrez, okay, supposed to been, or supposed to have been the next dude for Lloyd Carr. Got hurt in camp, so then it was the Chad Henne show for 4 years. Devin Gardner, Brady Hoke and Al Borges ruined him. R.I.P. to this talent. Brandon Peters, was hoping more for him. I really thought that when it was his time to shine, it was either win now or never, and didn't win much. Ended up winning a national championship without him. Shane Morris, was a 5-star on Scout, which is now Rivals.com, and the lefty. We thought this dude was going to be the next coming of Christ. Started to recruit his ass off to get more high talent at Michigan, and just another quarterback Brady Hoke ruined. Simple as that. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy's name here going to go down as one of the Michigan greats, and wasn't world renowned in terms of what we've seen in college football in its entirety, in history, but won a national championship, part of 3 Big Ten titles, and sent a tweet out in 2020 to tell the Michigan faithful to keep calm, relax, we got this, and he backed it up. And then you got Chad Henne here. It's unfortunate. He would really never had an outright Big Ten championship in his resume. Rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. Unfortunately, Rich Rodriguez could not keep him on staff, and even though he wanted to run a spread offense, if Ryan Mallett would have stayed, who knows what would have happened? Could have adapted to his skill set. But Lloyd Carr helped him move to Arkansas. Shea Patterson, don't even get me started with that. So I wanted to show you that, and took a little bit more time there than I wanted, but I wanted to show that recruiting thing to you. So, all in history right there. Now, let's get into the keys of the game here. Michigan, Ohio State. Michigan opening up as a 23.5 point dog, which is the most since 1969 and 1996 when they were 17 point underdogs. Shout out to Steve Dace from the Michigan podcast for tweeting that out. So, Steve said, beyond 1969, there's not really a record or history of like, betting, lines and all that stuff like that. So, just to see Michigan open up as that much in deficit it's pretty wild. Both in 69 and 96, Michigan won those games. So, hopefully history kind of repeats itself, as you might want to say there. Key to win for Michigan, number one, field position. Field position via special teams or turning OSU over. Michigan was in command of the 2016 game 95% of that day because of pinning OSU deep. Wilton Speight handed OSU 14 points by throwing a pick six and another that set up like a two-play 13-yard drive late in the game, however. So, repeat that, but it's a good portion of that take in the beginning. This offense is not reliable. It's not consistent. I'm nervous to see what they look like on the road in probably the most hostile environment they've seen all year. A lot of them players have been there before, but how is Davis Warren going to react? With 100,000 plus fans yelling at you. So we'll see. Number two, keep Will Howard in the pocket, take him down early. Only sacked 13 times this year and has only thrown 6 interceptions. So Will Howard can either win or lose this game for Ohio State. I think it is the absolute key is to get this this dude on the ground in a hurry, make life hell. I said all year last year in regards to Michigan defense, violate the pocket, rattle the opposing quarterbacks, make life hell. Kenneth Grant in this game, like if he could bat down a pass, maybe even 2 or 3 of them on like third and long, my goodness, would that be huge. Kenneth Grant, I don't have Kenneth Grant or Mason Graham down here in parts of these keys to win, but they can, if they go out there and have, an ordinary day at the office for themselves, I think we'll be in good shape. Number 3, bend but don't break. Ohio State has entered the red zone 44 times this year and has come away with 41 trips and points. 37 of those were touchdowns. So force them to settle for 3. Okay? Michigan cannot play catch up. This offense is not built for that. They have to stay within a field goal or they have to be in the lead. If this game, if they're down by double digits, I mean you can kiss it goodbye. That's just how I feel. You look at how they played on the road at Illinois. They lost 21-7. They were down 7-0, and I felt like they were already down by 21 at that point. They have to stay within a field goal. Number 4, Michigan needs to get on them early. Ohio State has started a few games this year slow. Ohio State has only allowed 9 red zone touchdowns so far. Michigan will have to score from any way and anywhere they can. Long sustained drives or from beyond the 20-yard line. They have to score points. Every trip, every punt that Michigan has that is dropping further and further away from the finish line. Score on every drive. Preferably getting 7. Sounds obvious, but again, Ohio State only giving up 9 red zone touchdowns this year. It's absurd. Lastly, the coaching staff has to leave it all on the line. Kirk Campbell, Wink Martindale, they have to have their coaching career day here. No playoff or any trip is happening, of course. This is the championship game. These defending national champions can ruin an entire state's fan base, coaching staff. I mean, they pull off this upset. There is going to be so many broken hearts. Watching that 2022 game and watching the fans for Ohio State out there crying because Donovan Edwards killed them 2 times is heroin in the veins. Heroin in the veins. Something like that has to happen again. To function through life off Ohio State fans' tears is a drug like any other. It really is. It's nirvana. No Will Johnson, potentially no Jair Hill. You know, Hill and Zeke Berry have been have been suspect all season with a sliver of decent play from time to time. But if Michigan is without those two corners, oh my goodness, it could be in some trouble. OSU wide receivers will get theirs, right? We even seen it in 2021. You know, they're going to have a duo of guys that are going to be NFL ready. Like Jeremiah Smith is already NFL ready. So they're going to get a touchdown here. They're going to get a touchdown there. They're going to get a 20-yard, 30-yarder here or there. But when all said and done, Michigan secondary will have to make a play or two to get off the field. And you even seen it last year when the game was even a little bit closer. It was a 30-24 finish. You know, like Quentin Johnson breaking up a bang-bang play on Emeka Buka. Like 2022, Mikey Sanderson breaks up that corner possible touchdown to Cade Stover. Like, gets beat, makes a break on it, plays catch up, swipes that ball away. Like, plays like that is going to have to happen here. So, I think out of all that, Will Howard and Michigan's secondary is the deciding factor, if really anything else. Last year, from week 1 to the national championship, it felt like Michigan just didn't. Each game going in, it didn't feel like Michigan was going to lose ever. And this year, of course, it feels a little bit different. Not shocked if they lose, but there is a feeling of like I just don't see the streak ending here. You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling. I'm not saying Michigan like last year. I don't feel like they just can't lose. I just feel like somehow Michigan is going to pull this off. But if they go out and get routed, have a ball. Okay? Michigan's still defending national champions. Even if Ohio State beats Michigan, I don't think they have the cards in the deck to win the Natty. I mean, it's kind of an open door right now. There's not like one absolute dominant team out there. You know, Penn State doesn't have my entire. I don't have a lot of faith in them either. Oregon is very. Oregon's beatable. I was about to say very beatable. I mean, not very beatable, but they're beatable. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, yet they're still getting top 8 love, top 5 love. So I'm gonna watch the game, of course, right? Saturday. And if it gets ugly, time to watch holiday movies. But if it's a close game, we'll see what happens. There's that whole thing. Well, even when a team's having a down year, the games are close. Mostly true. Mostly true. 2017, which I compared that season to this one a lot this year. They were in it to the very end, and we all remember John O'Korn dropping back and hailing one over the middle to literally nobody but a wide open Ohio State defender. So if Michigan going to halftime down 14-10 or tied 13-13 or, 17-14, something like that, I'll feel okay. My hope is the locker room culture has stayed the same this year with the Ohio drill and the Georgia drill and the emphasis on this game, but the bag of tricks are gonna have to get unloaded. Kirk Campbell he can't call run pass, run pass, run pass on every drive. Donovan Edwards, for the love of God, has got to get involved in the passing game. Throw him in the slot. Throw him in the backfield simultaneously with Khalil Mullings. Something. And for the love of the football gods, hopefully he gets one or two more pops. Hopefully he's got two more in his bag, and can run down the sidelines once more. So that's really about all I got for Ohio State. I want to also pop this up here as well. This is Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. Listen to this.
We've felt what it's like to not win this game, and it's bad. It's one of the worst things that's happened to me in my life. Quite honestly, other than losing my father and a few other things, like it's quite honestly for my family the worst thing that's happened. So we can never have that happen.
So right there, Ryan Day might be more motivated than ever. And like I said, Michigan players can go out there and for themselves, most importantly, but they can give the fans the bragging rights for 365 more days. Like, the internet will break. The internet will explode if Michigan can go out there and win this. And it'll be unfortunate if Ohio State wins because you can already hear it right now of see, you can't do it without Connor Stallions, blah blah blah, and it's just such an eye roll and a head shake, and it's so pitiful to read all that. But nonetheless, that's what I got for you. So I procrastinate when I have the time, but the documentary review of Science Stealer will be coming out soon. The NOA should be wrapping up here in like the next 48 hours or something like that, right? Or it should have already happened, where Michigan has a chance to respond to the NCAA, and then the NCAA has a chance to respond to the Michigan's response, blah blah blah. So 2025 we'll probably see some sort of punishment come down. I don't think there's going to be a hammer, but you feel like if Michigan can go out there and invest all the money it has, and I know it's not really Michigan per se, a lot of it's donations, but all the resources, all the effort going in to build a monster class for the future, you feel like that if they were worried that something massive was going to happen to them, detrimental to the program, like maybe they'd be acting differently, and maybe I'm reading that wrong. But I feel pretty good about no vacating wins or anything like that. And before we sign off, I'll mention this too probably in the documentary review. If Michigan went out and completely collapsed, starting with that Penn State game, or maybe even was it the Michigan State game when the scandal got first brought to light? If they would have collapsed then and had a completely different season, not winning the Natty, not winning the Big Ten championship, not beating Ohio State, then I felt like that science stealing operation would have some sort of credence, some sort of evidence of, hey, see, look at it. They're not the same team without Connor Stallions there. But guess what? They still went out there and still won. Whether it was running the ball 32 times, whether it was beating Iowa in fugly fashion in Indy, whether it was, beating Bama in the OT, whether it was pretty much handily beating Washington in the Natty, like, they went out there and did it. And to me, that's still amazing without their head coach in the beginning of the year, without their head coach at the end of the year, and the most important part of the schedule, to go out there and go 15-0. I think there's nothing asterisk about that whatsoever. And then Jack Duvall, non-biased, like that is just realistic to me. So with this year being the down year, it's just not the same. This isn't the NFL where it would be the same, mostly the same team the year in year out. This is almost a completely new team, but it's not. We talked about in the beginning of the year, and it's the same team, but it's not. Even Joel Klatt said that. So hopefully these boys can go out there on Saturday. I want to say do the impossible, but to spoil an entire state for another year would be a dream come true, if you will. So next time we talk Michigan football, of course, will be after this game. We'll talk about potential bowl games, get more in depth with the recruiting. We'll talk more in depth about the basketball program. We'll talk more about hockey. We got a lot to get to this winter, and a lot more plans. But anyways, all the social medias are in the description box below. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching or listening on the dozens of apps that the show's available on as well. And thank you to all the support. Spotify Wrapped is coming up, so I'll be, of course, get to see all the more analytics and everything like that, and to grow into like 6-7 countries like we have, and viewers, listeners. It's just truly, flattering, I guess. I'm blessed. And anyways, enough rambling here at the end. Go Blue, beat Ohio State. See you guys next time. What's up, Southeast Michigan Podcast? When our community wins with us, we want to ensure you've maximized your ROI. Line shopping for the best odds matters, and that is why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books. Thankfully, there has never been a better time to get signed up, and we are here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide. Using our link, signupexpert.com/southeast. You can get access to all sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique features. Most importantly, this page automatically connects you to the top promotions at each book, allowing you to start line shopping with an enhanced bankroll. If you want to take advantage of these benefits, like Fanatic Sportsbook right now, bet and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets, then please consider signing up for the next book at signupexpert.com/southeast.